Welcome to my next Lost. Season 2 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important, if you're not caught up to the point where I am and rewatching or watching Lost, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, you find that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And I've already seen Lost 3 times. The last couple times I binged it, and I wanted to rewatch it to let it resonate. As a lot of stuff on Lost, I kind of forget where the stuff happened. I know a lot of stuff, though, too, but the show's not in my memory as good as some other shows. So I think it's one of the best shows of all time. Some may disagree with that, but I think it's one of the best. Top 5 of all time for me, for sure. But I'm not the only one that's going to be watching Lost here. The legendary Crazy Coffee Man, who you see in my comment section on Lucifer stuff, Breaking Bad stuff, and Dexter stuff, is also watching Lost for the very first time, as a matter of fact. So no spoilers past this episode, but join us on the journey and let's discuss this awesome and amazing show. With all that said, this will be Lost Season 2, Episode 6. The title of this episode is called Abandoned, and this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. So as Shannon gives Vincent water outside her tent, Vincent's always thirsty, of course, Sayid comes along and tells her to gather her things. He takes her for a walk and presents her with a brand new shelter, saying that it is all hers. Shannon invites Sayid into the tent for a night, and the two share a kiss. And then when Sayid pulls a gun out of his waistband, Shannon asks if he carries it around all the time, and Sayid says he only carries it because he has to protect, or he has someone to protect. So they start getting it on in there. Halfway across the island, Cindy tells Ana Lucia that they should get moving again. Ana Lucia says she wants to let her group rest a little longer, and Sawyer points out that she is lost. Ana Lucia blames Sawyer's friend for running off, I should say. Otherwise, Echo would still be with them. When Echo and Michael finally return, Ana Lucia asks Echo if he's okay, and he says yes, but that he saw the others and they have to leave. Cindy asks how many were there, and Libby asks if the kids were there, but Echo won't say. Ana Lucia agrees to let the group keep moving. And then back at Shannon's tent, like I'd mentioned, Sayid and Shannon make love, and Shannon asks if they are serious now. Sayid playfully says that he does this for all the girls that I meet on deserted islands. Afterwards, Shannon wants to get a drink of water, but Sayid leaves instead to get it for her. While he is gone, an apparition of Walt appears and in the tent, dripping wet and speaking backwards. He says what appears to be they're coming and they're close. Shannon screams at the top of her lungs, but Walt has disappeared by the time Sayid gets back to her. Half the beach, awakened by the screams, rush over. Sayid tells her, and everyone listening, it was only a dream and everything is fine. Sayid publicly refuting her story leaves Shannon feeling angry and hurt. When Claire, who heard Shannon's screams, arrives with Aaron, Charlie acts very paternal and scolds her for waking the baby up. A bewildered Claire ends up apologizing to Charlie. And then we start with our Shannon flashback. An 18-year-old Shannon works as a ballet instructor and dreams of landing an internship with a prestigious dance company in New York. During a dance class, her friend Nora tells her about a man that asked to be her au pair after her class has ended. Shannon receives a phone call from her stepmother, who informs her that her father has been in a car accident. The two rush to St. Sebastian Hospital, where a doctor tells them that Adam, her father, her biological father, suffered massive internal injuries and he stopped breathing at the scene of the crash. He says they were unable to revive him, so he is dead. Back to the island, halfway across the island, Ana Lucia and Mr. Echo are leading their party on a trek to join the middle section of survivors and unite the two groups. Ana Lucia asks Echo how much further is it to the other camp. Echo says maybe a day or two. Sawyer stumbles at the back of the group. Libby checks on his wounds and asks if she's a doctor. She says she's a psychologist. Libby says it's bad, but not real bad, and that he'll be okay. Hurley helps Rose with the laundry, asking her why they are hanging it to dry when there's a dryer in the hatch. And Rose doesn't like the hatch, or the Swan Station, essentially. She doesn't like it, doesn't want to be in there. And he wonders if it's because she's afraid of the button. And then she laughs and then says she wouldn't want to spoil them themselves now. Shannon approaches Rose and Hurley, asking about Walt and Michael's luggage. Rose mentions to Hurley about how terrible it must be to lose the one you love on the island, implying again that her husband is not dead. And we know that her husband is not dead because we know that Bernard is a part of Ana Lucia's tail section of the playing group. Shannon has restored to using Vincent to try and track Walt. She has Vincent sniffs Walt's clothing and tells the dog to find Walt. Vincent leads her directly to Boone's grave. The next day, as Locke helps Claire get the baby to sleep, she complains to him about Charlie, saying that he acts like the baby's father, but she knows very little about him. He could be a religious freak for all she knows. Why would he carry a statue of the Virgin Mary around with him? This, of course, catches John Locke off guard and says, "How about that?" At her father's funeral, back to the flashback stuff, a man arrives behind Shannon saying, "Death sucks, doesn't it?" The man is revealed to be Boone. We get Boone back. Shannon is very glad to see him. Boone gives her alcohol, claiming that there is always booze at wakes. At first, Shannon protests, saying, "Your mom's going to freak," but she gives in, taking some alcohol. Boone asks Shannon to come and visit him in New York, but she says she is planning to move there if she gets the internship at the Martha Graham Dance Company. Although Shannon says it's a 1 in 3,000 chance, she remains optimistic that she will get the internship. Boone asks if she has spoken to his mom. Shannon says she's going through her thing and I'm going through mine. Shannon says Sabrina has hated her from the moment she met her. Mr. Echo wants the group to go through the jungle. Ana Lucia liked Mr. Echo more when he wasn't talking. Claire wants Locke to hold Aaron, and Locke says he smells good. Interesting. Charlie comes and Locke hands Aaron off to Charlie. While traveling through the jungle, Michael asks why the group is in so much fear. Ana Lucia says her group was kidnapped one by the others, and he should think again about who these people are. Saeed finds Shannon at Boone's grave and assumes she's there to mourn her dead stepbrother, but she's there to find Walt. Feeling misunderstood and marginalized, she takes off again. Shannon says she's off to find Walt. Back to the Shannon flashback, or Boone's flashback now. Shannon gets the internship at the dance company, but finds out that her rent check has bounced. Shannon's roommate is surprised because she's like rich. She asks for help from Sabrina, or at least her part of her father's will. Sabrina says there is no will because Sabrina and Adam had a living trust and everything passed to her. She tells Shannon that she has to work for her mother money and refuses to lend her money for her trip to New York. So Sabrina says that from now on, Shannon is on her own. Back to the island, Charlie and Locke are playing a game. They talk about Claire. Locke calls Charlie a heroin addict, and Charlie says recovering addict. Sawyer falls down and passes out. He needs water. Sawyer is still out. Michael asks Mr. Echo if he can help him build a stretcher. Back to the island when Saeed finally catches up to Shannon in the jungle. She tells him she knows Walt is not on the raft because they found the message bottle from the raft. They are carrying Sawyer on a makeshift stretcher. The group manages to get the stretcher up a steep hill, only to find while they are doing so, another one of their group, Cindy, who was a flight attendant on the flight, has disappeared. Mr. Echo and the others start to hear whispers, and they run in fear. Back to the flashback, Shannon gets kicked out of her own house, and she's packing up her things. Boone comes in. Shannon had apparently asked him to ask his mom for some money, but he comes back empty-handed, saying Shannon knew why he asked for the money, or Sabrina knew why he asked for the money. I put Shannon, but it's Sabrina. Shannon asks if she can move to his place in New York, but he informs her that he is leaving New York since his mom offered him a job and he accepted. He offers Shannon some of his own money, but she rejects it, asking him whether or not he believes she can make it on her own. When he doesn't answer, she rejects his money again, saying she does not need his money, doesn't want his money. And then back to the island. After running further into the jungle, Shannon trips. As Sayid tries to help her up, she angrily asks him why he doesn't believe her, and he says she knows he will leave her as soon as they are rescued. But Sayid tells her he believes her, he promises her that he will never leave her, and tells her he loves her. As they fall into an embrace, Sayid and Shannon hear whispers and look up to see Walt, again dripping, and this time putting his finger to his lips and saying, "Shh," and Sayid does see Walt as well. Shannon runs after him into the jungle, and it takes a moment for Sayid to jar himself into action. He's running after her when a gun fires, and Shannon stumbles out of the jungle with a bullet hole in her stomach. The tail section, the people that were on the tail section are shocked. And then behind, Ana Lucia is holding a smoking gun. Shannon dies in Sayid's arms. Yes, Shannon is dead. Well, okay. So we get an episode without Jack and Kate. That's interesting. Where's Desmond at? But pretty good episode. Obviously, we've lost another character on Lost. I'm going to give the episode an 8.7 out of 10. And my characters the episode are going to be Shannon and Sayid. So, interesting stuff. Yes, Shannon's dead. She dies. She's not alive. Just because people think when somebody dies that they'll come back to life or something like that. So, you've heard everything that I have to see or say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Lost and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please don't forget to Hulk smash the like button. Share this video with a friend that likes Lost or you think will like Lost. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comments section about what your thoughts are on this episode of Lost. Remember, you'll be interacting with me and the legendary Crazy Coffee Man, who has not seen anything past this episode yet, or may have, but no spoilers past this episode. What would you score the episode, and whom would be your characters of the episode? If you want to do like a male and female and add additional characters, well, that's fine. And then I'll put some video suggestions here, and here. Check those video playlists out. My Dexter stuff is going to start rocking soon. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDevTV.